Namaste. Very welcome everyone to this satsang. My intention to share this meeting, to meet you, to explore the truth with you is to uh, to to become more so that we all can become more clear, complete, naturally, existentially blissful, connected and nourished by the source. Which and this intention will take some turns in this meeting also, like some discussion will happen, some guiding will take place. So this is the intention of this meeting. You all are welcome if anybody want to talk to me. Yeah, Mila.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here today with you. um, you just mentioned about clarity and the channel in YouTube called Joy of Clarity. And I would like to check to you what kind of role mind is playing in my awakening. I mean, it is joy here, which is very clear to me and which I experience, but the clarity I would like to explore more. I mean, what mind can understand in this kind of way or in this kind of journey, and does mind need to understand something? And it is something which called mind preparation, which means that we need to prepare our mind for what is going on here. So, is that clear?
Actually, mind plays a big role, but not directly. Like, truth cannot be known through the mind. It is known by the one who we are truly. No, the truth is known by the truth that we are. No, but mind can stop us. Let us try to see how mind can stop us, or does stop us for quite long time, and what is the role of clarity here in this context. No? Mind stops us not like a stone when we are coming home, not like a stone in the way. No, mind is not like it like that kind of thing inside us. Mind is the understanding we have about everything. No? And that understanding, when not sufficient, stops us from living the truth of who we are, and like this knowing the truth of life. So clarity helps in the way that our understandings become more true, relatively true. Mind cannot understand what is truth. But the understandings of the mind can be brought to such a level of clarity where, even if they are not in agreement with you to sit in your being and rejoice your nature beyond logic, but still they don't have that much strength that they can hold you back. No? And this is what is clarity or openness of mind. No? And this is also something similar to preparation of mind. Because mind as such does not have its own strength. Its strength is given by us through our dependency on it. No? Like A very small example could be that what is the what is the benefit of satsang for you, for example? If you have not really tasted the benefit of satsang in satsang directly within your being, you will only have to think about it, no? Meaning the only option will be to think about it and analyze and calculate that what all I have done so far and what I am doing now and so on. And based on that, you will decide. So dependency on the mind is absolutely almost always, no? And that is a practicality. It's not a good or bad thing in itself, no? But when that dependency is not noticed by us, because we don't see ourselves separate from mind yet, meaning when we have not started living the truth of who we are, we do not know ourselves separate from the mind at all. Sometimes it is too much one, like totally one with it, no? Like what we understand at the level of mind about a subject, on a subject, we declare, I understand about it on this subject, no? So the difference between mind's understanding and our understanding is not there at all. Mind understanding is our understanding at that time, no? But this is the beauty of clarity, that the more clarity will happen in the mind, not only it will not hinder us, stop us from slipping into our own being beyond mind and taste and know the truth of who we are, but also somehow the attachment or identification with the mind will be less also in the same ratio. The more open mind, the less possibility of identification or attachment to the mind also. The identification with the mind has two factors, okay? This is what I feel right now. One factor is the need in the being to be identified. The need in the being to be identified basically is dependent on how unaware the being is about its own nature. The more the being is unaware about its own nature and possibility of living its truth, the more there is a need to be identified with something else. That is the mind and body. As soon as you, the being, start tasting yourself, the need to be identified reduces more and more. So this is one thing, need to be identified. Another thing is that what we are identified with, how sticky that thing is. Identification, you can say, is like touch. But if something, the surface is too sticky, then even if you touch it for a moment and you wanted to take your hand off that now, but you are not able to, no? Because it is sticky, no? So that clarity basically is removing the stickiness of the mind in a way. It is more open, more neutral, more uh, basically more neutral, like more individual, less personal in a way, you can say. So this is the importance I feel of clarity. In both ways it helps. It makes the surface of mind less sticky, and it opens in a way, it becomes like, works like openness. Like up to some degree, if our mind is open or clarity is there, we are already able to sense that something higher than the mind is there in me. The truth of who we are is sensed by us, not seen maybe, not felt maybe. No. So this is all I could say. Please say more if something is not covered in it.
No, everything was covered very well, and you said that need for identification. This is very, like for me, it's very easy to understand because I feel that's what I'm going through now. That it is less, and also stickiness. You said it is also what I was experiencing so many times when I saw this before to call myself like a master of the mind. I mean, before I couldn't even think that I can stop my mind, or I can see this, or I can control it. But now I can say more that I'm becoming a master of it, or I'm using this. Before it's kind of, it's using me, or it was the only way for me.
Oh, yes, yes. Very good. I mean, clarity at the level of mind in this context of being the master of mind, not the slave of it, it plays like this, that we start learning the nature of mind, like what is its nature. And in the same go, we learn our nature also, little bit, if not so much. No? And that somehow makes us more neutral towards the mind and less judgmental. Mostly we are very judgmental about the mind also. Although being in the mind causes us to be judgmental even about the mind, but nevertheless this is the case. No? And then when we are not so much caught up in the mind or not mind is so much closed, then we are less judgmental about our mind also. Then mind is given genuine space to play what need to be to play in it. And the stress level also reduces now here. Like we feel less stress. Because mind is feeling a lot of stress because it is being cornered continuously by our judgmental attitude and rejection to what is happening without understanding what it is and whether it is okay or not. No? So clarity plays this role also. Like we become more relaxed, like it's all right. Like thoughts come, it's okay. You know, thoughts come, it's okay. But thoughts come does not mean that I have to think them. Thoughts come means like a feeling, like a energy of thinking comes, like an invitation to think about something. Does not mean that I have to think about it right now. You know, like there was one. It's not that's same on the same scale, this example, but there was a joke that one guy was crying, and his friend said, "Why are you crying? Are you crying?" He said, "Actually, yesterday I was walking out of my house, going to office, and then there was a banana peel, and I slipped on it, and I felt very badly on my back." He said, "Okay, but that happened yesterday. Why are you crying today?" He said, "Because I see one banana peel in front of my house right now." You know, like this. You can just avoid it, no? So when we are so closed or identified with the mind, like as you said, we don't have any other way of of thinking. We don't know that there's any other way of meeting our mind. Then we feel that every thought that comes in me, I have to think about it. Because that's why it has come. Like there's no gap between the two. But now there is. That it's okay. Thoughts come. Is true. Thoughts come in me. You know, like thoughts or like a feelings come, like an invitation to think. But I have an option to say pass. You know, I have an option to say pass. Pass means I will not do anything with it. And this happens more and more to people who are more clear at the mind level, even if they are not spiritual actually. It has been proved everywhere in this practical life also. That those who are very clear about the subject they are discussing today right now, or those who are doing a lot of work with a lot of clarity and focus, they already do these things. So many thoughts will come. No? Like a packet was about to come to my house, like ordered some nice new phone. Oh, excitement, I'll go there. But no, right now focus is on that subject. You know, writing an email to the client. And they know how to not go there and remain here. No. So that is the internal functioning of the mind. There's nothing in this particular part. There's nothing specifically spiritual about it. It is just learning how mind functions or remaining focused on what we are doing. No? Like remaining focused on what we are doing at the mind level includes not focusing on anything else which is going on in the mind, which is translated as ignoring anything and everything else. No? Meaning things are there but being ignored. No? So slowly like this we understand the nature, we open more, this is like a one thing that happens. Like a one thing. Like a awakening at the level of mind, you can say. No? Opening of the mind is like a awakening at the level of mind, like one thing. But as we all know clearly that awakening is not really a sequential process. It may appear to be so generally, like first let us open our mind, then let us open our heart. No, but it is possible that your heart may open up first and mind not. You know, and then that's where the confusion happens. That I feel so happy in satsang, like really I feel so happy whenever I am in satsang or whenever I'm able to be in my own satsang in my own time. But what happens afterward? Like I get into some kind of state and I'm not able to get out of it now. No, clarity at the mind level will help a lot here. You know, like things, clarity simply means making things more transparent. Things are packaged in some, you know, mm, non-transparent boxes inside us, let's say, and just removing the dust from the walls of those boxes so that we can clearly see at any point of time what is what. Clarity simply means, transparency, not changing anything or removing anything, no, at first. In Hindi we call it spashtata. No? Clarity simply means spasht. Spasht dekhna sab cheezon ko. Like clearly seeing everything, perceiving everything as it is. Like not only, for example, clarity about the thinkings or thought processes, feelings that come, is not just that, oh, thoughts come to me. No, thoughts come to me. And I have kind of a habit to just get into it, like, no, I have to involve in it. So that is also noticed in that clarity, same clarity. Then, when I did not go for it, kind of feels more spacious in me, easier for me to relax in my being. This is also part of clarity, you know. Clarity at the level of mind is not just improving the thought processes. It is about improving the thinker also. Because who is thinking through mind? The being only, no? The same being who want to go home, who want to relax in its own truth. So the more it becomes free from the mind, the more it becomes free for itself also. No? It's the same thing, no? Like the more refined the mind or thinking process, or more clear the thinking process, the more easier for the thinker to decide whether I should continue thinking right now or not. Because we think that thinking is something like a task I'm doing. No, being in the mind and thinking, kind of same, one and the same thing. This whole thing can improve as a whole, not like parts of it anyway. Parts of it also is okay. For the personal life is fine. So yeah, I think it's good. Thank you. This is why I have proposed this fundamental framework of 2110, in which 2 is the state where we are one with the mind. 2-1 is where we have more distance now. Now we are taking the call more and more that which thought to think, which subject to think, which not. Like there are times when we are actually able to ignore thoughts, no? Not just theoretically, actually. Like we find ourselves, oh, thoughts came, and I chose not to think about it. And we feel very confident somehow, like, yeah, that's nice. And it is just about this one thing, that you, the being, start waking up to the possibility that I may ignore thoughts also, or anything for that matter. Like it's not compulsory for me to attend and involve with what happens inside me. No, it's just about that basic truth when it start revealing inside us. In a small amount, a small extent, and then it will grow deeper. No, then the whole thought processes, even the feelings, even the state, even many other things will come, and you will try to use your power and test that. Can I ignore this also? That when we choose to ignore involvement with the energies, and we choose to stay as the being, no? Isn't it? Without knowing generally in the beginning when we are especially in the mind level, no? Because in the mind level, we are like a thought. Let's say when we are asked who I am, then we will define ourselves through a thought that this is what I am or I am. I am is a thought when we are at the level of mind. I am is a feeling when we are at the level of heart. No? Beyond that is the truth of I am. No? The existence of I am. What is this? What this I am indicates to really beyond a thought and a feeling about it. No? Feeling means a state also. Beyond the thought and a state. What is the truth of this I am? That is beyond heart also. Thank you. It's very nice. Anna, you want to talk?
Namaste, Rajee. I wanted to thank you for helping me 2 weeks ago with this topic of being connected to like a big lump of thoughts, which was regarding the food and the connection with the body, and something very, very, I would call it like, they call it reptile mind, fell off. A reptile mind, they call it for like survival. Yes. Because I was able to observe it, and it was a very, very big thing, like very deeply seated like reaction, like a way of being. And as slowly as it was being released, I felt aloneness, like big aloneness, but not in that nice way that sometimes Guruji speaks about, being alone as everything, like that. It was really just aloneness, and then I could understand why all the drama all the time, because we choose anything else but to feel that, or I was choosing everything else, even this fighting for life and survival and drama or whatever, just not to feel that aloneness. Yes, and so the only thing that works is like what you did in the beginning of the satsang. When I feel that, then I connect to this blessing. Like I feel, I remind myself how blessed I am, and that helps a lot with this just feeling. It's not even stuck, or it is just how it is, basically, that we are alone. So thank you so much. There is so much more space that is open for everything else, for the beautiful things of life.
Yes. Very, very nice. Yeah, I have this feeling that during this time, as you said, that nothing works in a way, except some, remaining connected to that sense of blessedness or feeling, to feel blessed, to exist. That I'm blessed that I exist, no? Or something similar like this, no? The thing is that not that nothing works, is true, but also that nothing need to work really. What need to work is already working. That thing is called awareness, light of truth. The more light of truth is coming in it, the more change is taking place in its own speed, in the right speed, appropriate existential speed. And appropriate connected experiences are taking place also, like feeling lonely or aloneness. Okay, aloneness is felt, or something before that, like that felt, and then afterward. So all of that is actually part of the truth, how life is happening. The only thing that really need to do, meaning for you, the being has to do is that somehow if you can not do anything about it, if you can let it complete its work, you know, if you don't interfere in it, this is the key. And for that, whatever works, if prayer works, is fine. If clarity, stability, and clarity works, also fine. No? Because the being is already working on it. Now you don't start working on it as an individual also, because being an individual is connected to that which you are trying to solve. So then you, as an individual, when working on it, you will try to hold on to it, like not let it change. While you as the being will continue trying to change it, and this is where you will feel an inner conflict, like a difficulty, like it will feel difficult that I'm going through a difficulty of change now. So let it go at least from one of the end. You cannot let go of it now from the end of being, because that's kind of out of your hands in a way of the individual self. The only option is to let go of it from the side of the individual. Let go basically means don't register to it, that's all. We cannot do anything about it, but we can register. Like make it difficult. We can make the change difficult, or we can make the change joyful. In the prayerful state, in the blissful state, that change becomes blissful. Like, for example, it is said different times that when a being has to give birth to a baby, a child, a necessary pain has to happen. But that necessary pain may become much more worse if that being resists to it out of ignorance. Or it may see that it is part of the process, pain is part of the process. And then it is told that in the tribes, in the villages also, or particularly in the forest, when tribes live, they don't feel so much pain really when they give birth to a baby, because somehow it is just holistically allowed and accepted by the being. So this is one of the example where lot of disturbances are caused by our resistance to it, to what is happening, which are not really part of what is happening, but we are making things very different in a way than in the experience. So I'm all for, if you want to do something, and if you can, do something. But if you see clearly, I cannot do anything, that time it is very important to make sure that I'm not doing anything also. Because otherwise we keep doing something unconsciously. This is what is, we keep registering to it unconsciously. So I think it's good. It's good. Thank you. Like a permission is required from you. Individual, you the individual, a permission, you the individual need to give a permission to not register to it. Like, okay, I allow it to happen the way it is happening right now. Like a declaration, it kind of going to make you the individual more relaxed and allowing it to happen now. And otherwise, by default, we are going to register to it. Meaning, if we do not do anything, if we do not change our attitude towards it, we are going to, generally speaking, continue registering to it without knowing. Another example of it I heard was that there were some people going in a cart, horse cart or bullock cart, and somehow one of the wheel kind of one of the wheel of the cart fell off and the cart turned, flipped, and all the people sustained big and deep injuries except one. And that one was a drunkard. He was drunk. So he was so flexible that he fell wherever he fell. A drunkard and a child also. There was a child also who also almost survived nicely because that child and the drunkard was cooperating with how they were falling, not resisting to it. Thank you. I feel very happy. Thank you. Very, very good. Very good. God bless you. When we are sitting right now together, we are not really doing anything right now. Uh, Explicitly, like nothing has been declared that okay, we are doing something right now, isn't it? And yet somehow we will notice that we continue doing something. And for that, we need to declare internally that okay, I have chosen not to do anything right now. You know, I feel it will be a very good practice in satsang that when we do something, like talking is happening, like I'm sharing something, you are listening. So you are doing something, you are listening. No? Or you are talking to me, explaining something, exploring something, again you are doing something. And then when I'm not talking, let's say, when you are not talking also, that time to be clear that yes, I'm not doing anything right now. You know, like this, the whole satsang will become either a very beautiful conversation, exploration, and or upon listening realization of some truth, some pointer, or meditation, just sitting or not doing anything. So this not doing anything part is very important to be understood and actualized. It need to be actualized. No? Not by forcing ourselves to not do anything, but by declaring that what I am doing right now, like by being aware of what I am doing, and with the intention that I do not want to really do anything, but let me open my eyes internally to see if I am doing something. Because Rajee is saying that if you are really not doing anything right now truly, then you will feel blissful immediately and full of light of your own being. Am I feeling blissful and full of the light of my being? Hey, maybe not so much. Then it must be that I am doing something and I am not aware that I am doing something. So let me just check that, am I doing something right now? The doing necessarily is not like physical doing. No. Doing could be thinking about a subject. No. Doing could be thinking about a subject. And it is not only thinking about a subject. It could be intentionally watching our thoughts also. With intention. With effort watching our thoughts. Not without effort. Without effort is part of not doing anything. When we are not doing anything, we are naturally aware of many things happening inside us, but we are not choosing that what I will be aware of and what I will not. So with effort also, watching our thought is also doing here. Holding on to a question or a topic or a something that I want to solve also is doing something or no. Like this, what is going to happen, that we, the being, is knowing its own self, that how actually I do things internally. Like, we are becoming aware for the first time that actually how I do things from inside. Before that, we are more living in a belief of a doer without being clear what exactly is a doer, what exactly is it doing, and how doing happens. No? Like, we will be surprised actually. Like I was sharing before also, that if we walk few steps to ensure that how exactly I take a step, we will be so surprised in the being. From the being, if we see that how exactly I move my leg, how I do anything, how that doing takes place, we will be surprised actually. Doing is there, being is there, and in between is a sense that I am a doer. Here, when we are being more and more clear about not doing anything, that sense of doer, to save itself, tries to continue doing something. And if we can be aware that and choose that I will not do anything now for some time, that sense of doer cannot survive, which is like working like a like a curtain between the being and the being. No? Between the being and the being, it is working like a curtain, as if there are two beings inside us. The myself and the self. You know. So right now we are becoming more aware of doings and the being. No? Like the being that I am does things, and I'm not aware of how I do things. Now I'm becoming aware by noticing that, am I doing anything right now? And be very simple about it. Don't force yourself, because if you force, that's where the sleep and many things like this come. This is another way, also internally there inside us, and we are not aware of that also. Like that kind of kicks in somehow, that starts in a way, turns on in a way, that we start feeling sleepy. Let us not try to feel something special right now. Let us not try to see something special, something more like very forcefully or something. More simply relaxed, but very sincerely involved in this inquiry, that am I doing anything right now? And don't keep focus on what is going on inside you. Keep your focus on yourself only. No, we don't need to keep focus on what is going on inside us. We need to keep focus only on ourselves, that am I doing anything with what is happening? Only one thing. So we don't need to look at thoughts, feeling, body, mind, and anything and everything. We don't need to ignore it also, by the way. Why we need to ignore it? Let us not ignore anything. Let us be aware that am I doing anything right now? And this is going to bring us to a natural state of being where we will be able to say that I am not doing anything right now. I am choosing not to do anything right now. Only when we are aware of how we do things, we can choose to not do. No? Without being aware of doing, we cannot be aware of a non-doing state also. No? Even if sleep feels, I invite that to ensure that you are not doing anything with it. And you will immediately see a separation from the sleep. Like now the body will, the sleep will be reduced to the body only. And you somehow will remain still, shining by the light of your being. Like not bothered, not moved by anything now. Not even by sleep. Again and again try to understand that you don't have to force yourself to not do anything. You just have to learn how we are doing anything with the intention that I don't want to do anything right now. And that intention and awareness of what we are doing is more than enough to for a release to happen, like a let go happens here. And we find ourselves in the not doing state in relation to that which we were doing. It's a beautiful thing to be in the state where we are not doing anything. Because this is where true knowledge happens. In the non-doing state, the true knowledge happens about ourselves and about everything else that we experience. Meaning about ourself, the essential self that we are, and about the body, mind, energies, and everything also. So this is where true knowledge happens naturally, without doing anything. But this without doing anything is not being absent. Being present without doing anything. No. So present but not doing anything. Like so very present that we can ensure that yes, I am totally present, which means that I am not present anywhere else in my thoughts, feelings, or anything. I am not present in my subtle unconscious states. I ensure that I am only present here right now. And like this, I declare that I am not doing anything right now. And this is going to reveal so much truth. First of all, about ourselves, that we feel that I have to do something in order to be myself. This is going to reveal this simple truth that no, I don't need to do anything to be myself. I exist without doing anything. It is going to reveal the very ground of being on which we are standing also, very naturally. Ourself without doing anything. This is that being, no? This is called Paramanand, no? Paramanand. This is a supreme bliss. Paramanand, no? Supreme bliss. Supreme bliss, you can say, is a state of completion, like a perfect completion. Like there is no incompletion whatsoever here. It's absolutely complete. Like so complete and self-absorbing. It is absorbed in itself. The being is absorbed in itself and complete by by itself without any effort. The being that we are is not thinking, watching, or making any other effort. And a true knowledge is happening so naturally here about everything. After all the freedom that we will gain here from doings, from unconscious attachments, we will come to the most fundamental region of moving in the being, that is a desire. So now we are at this level where we can actually examine what is desire and how it is able to move the being that I am. Or can it move me? Is it really able to move me? Because desire is the most subtle, you can say, thought that happens. In the similar fashion as the outer thoughts happen, and our identification and hypnosis with them causes us to flow with them in the similar way, at the most fundamental, subtle level of being, purer state of being, the desire happens, which is a subtle thought, but our identification and hypnosis with it causes us to go with it without knowing that I have an option to pass. Right now, if a desire is happening in you, you can choose to pass, to say that I pass, I don't go for it right now. And you will discover a deeper, subtler, more stable freedom into your being, more purer taste and knowing of who we are. It is in one sense letting go of everything. It is in one sense attaining everything. Everything that we are. No? We are this one thing, which is not a thing, which is the purity, which is the pure beingness. And it is somehow involved with the thoughts and feelings and body and everything for so long that it has forgotten its own beauty and purity. Right now we are living this purity and the beauty of the being. Not that we will stop living the body and everything, but right now we are not living anything else. Remaining in the body remains in the being remains in the body also. Both true at the same time also. And yet we are not living anything. We are living only ourselves. We are in the mind also. Mind is inside us also. Both true at the same time also. And yet we are not living anything right now. We are just living our purity of being. The key is to not move. This is the key. The moment we move, we get involved. We now taste ourselves plus what we are working with, what we are doing something with. No? That thing and ourself is tasted now. Not doing anything is the key to taste the purity of our own being, which we are tasting right now. Our energies can be in any state. But if we are not connecting to the desire, to a desire, they cannot cause us to leave or lose our true state of being. The light of our own being fills our own being in a way, which is an actual thing. It's an actual experience reported by those to whom it is happening. It happens like it is happening to us right now. Like a sense of being, no size, no shape, no form, no attribute whatsoever connected to it, and yet somehow filled with the light. A light which we cannot really see, but in some way we know it is here. We are that being which we cannot see in any way possible, and yet we know we are here. All we have done is that through this process of meditation, we have allowed ourselves to come to our true state of being. That's all. Through this simple instruction of checking that am I doing anything right now, we have used our awareness to become free from unconscious doings or unconsciousness as such. We have become free from unconsciousness as such. When you, the being, becomes free from unconsciousness, you, the being, has become free from doings into your non-doing true state of being. Because your doing is not a compulsion. Doing is a compulsion, is the bondage we have to be free from. There is no other bondage for the being that you are. Doing is voluntary. You can choose to do or not do anything. It is not compulsory for you, the being. So this is that core bondage in existence for the being that we are, which we are trying to be free from in a way by highlighting, by being clear, by being aware. That I am free to choose not to do anything. I am free to choose not to do anything. Like this, the sense of false self will not survive here at all. Because sense of false self basically is a sense that I am something, someone who is dependent on doings. That's why I have to keep doing something or the other all the time. The root of the false self is this sense of doing. That's why false self generally is called sense of doer also. I'm very happy to live this walkthrough or this guiding with all of you. Thank you. Deepa, you want to talk?
Namaste ji.
Namaste.
I don't have any words left to say.
But are you happy, or because you are crying and crying sometime is like can go any way, both way, no? Happy or unhappy.
I'm blissed out.
Oh, how nice.
What should I say? You know it all.
I never claim to know it all. You know, I say He knows it all, who lives in our heart. No, that my Lord who lives in our heart, the Self, He knows it all really, and all the time He knows it all. Know this clearly and rejoice in this truth that the Self, the Lord, lives in your heart, and He knows it all. We are not alone in this way. We are alone in a way as an individual self only. But as soon as we turn towards the home, the self, we we never will feel we are alone. Because it is not really your your homecoming in a way. It is the return of the true self. It is not really coming home of the false of the individual self. It is the returning of the true self from a divine play also. Yeah. It is returning to its true state. The true state of the true self is non-doing state, no, non-doing being state. So while remaining in the body, the self wakes up to the truth that I am that which only is, which is the being, and is not dependent on the doing for being who I am. Until then, sadhana, satsang, dhyana and satsang is useful. After that, it is not required. When the self knows that I exist without doing anything. The doing of the body mind will continue, and it is all right to continue rejoicing in this. No, it will be like this. But the bondage is not there now. Like this. We may feel that lot of thoughts coming inside me, and that is my problem. Maybe yes, from one perspective, yes. But from the fundamental perspective where we are right now, this is not the problem. The problem is that we don't know that I don't have an option to pass thoughts. This is the real bondage. As soon as we become aware that I have a choice to not do anything about my thoughts and feelings, that's from where we start discovering the freedom that we are, not the freedom that we only have in relation to involvement with thoughts and feelings. We are that freedom. And the more we will live the truth of who we are, the more we will live our nature, the beauty of it, the more somehow we will become the freedom, not that we will have the freedom. The freedom that we have, we are going to lose it occasionally, even if it is true freedom. The freedom that we are, we can never lose. Because nobody wants to change their nature. Once we establish in our freedom that I am this freedom, meaning when we have developed so much taste for it, we are so much into it. Thank you. I think it's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Transverse.
The mind can work like a imprisonment or can work like a guard. Let the mind work like a guard for you now. Guard means alertness. Let the mind be a alertness now, not a collection of thoughts or tendencies or to indulge in different kind of thinkings, causing imprisonment or through the identification. No, let the mind be a alertness now itself. Like let the mind filter out at the level of mind what happens at the level of mind now, so that you, the being, remains free now into your nature. And it is possible really. Because if we can use the mind for what it is there, for in the context of awakening, then we really can rejoice in the non-doing, effortless state of being. It is because we are not using our mind well for what it is made in relation to awakening that we still have to be involved, and we cannot rejoice in the effortless blissfulness of our own being. So it's very good. Thank you. Manu, you want to say something?
Namaste ji. Ji, can you please share something more about this mind be alertness, not the collection of thinking and thoughts? Thank you, ji.
Generally, what happens is that, let's say, we are enjoying something. Let's say we are enjoying a garden or a walk or something. Then, when we have to use our mind, when we use our mind, it's kind of difficult to go in, and it is difficult to go out. Both way. Go in means it is difficult to come to that particular thought process which we want to actually do. There are always many other things which are going on, and we always, lose a lot of our energy and time in trying to make a way in that forest of mind towards where we want to reach. And the same thing applies to when trying to get out of mind again back to our walk or enjoying the garden. So this is that normal state of how to say cluttered state of mind, you can say. Cluttered state of mind is not as such because of the state of mind. It is mainly because of the thinker is not so careful about it. When the thinker will be more careful or more aware about where it goes in the mind and what it does, then a certain clutteredness, you can say, will take place. Like it will become less cluttered, more resolved. Like things are more in their places, not in the way. Now, if you pull one string, you will know that what it will do, and it will really do that only, and not that you can end up with some surprise. Generally speaking, not always maybe, but many times. So that is what is a clear mind, more stable and clear mind. Which is not really only because my mind state is like this. Mind state depends on the state of the thinkers also. How much self-aware the thinker is, that much awareness will be in the mind also. So basically, what we call awareness or consciousness in a way, relative consciousness, or objective consciousness, basically is the result of the being in the mind. When the being is in the mind, then what we experience is called relative consciousness or objective consciousness. Mind is like a environment where things become objective. Being is that environment where things become subjective, like being. And that's why in the being, mind is not an object. Mind is an object in the being only for some time. As you will go deeper and subtler in your being, the mind is also the being. Like there's just one thing called being slowly. But when we are in the mind state, things become objective. Even the being is an object. Everything is an object, and the being, the self, is also an object here. So here we are in the field of objective consciousness. And if the refinement is done in such a way that we are less cluttered, more refined and balanced in a way, then chances are that the self, the being who is in the mind will be able to see this truth. That everything is an object. Hey, I'm also an object. How funny it is. Like I'm also an object of my own perception. I'm perceiving myself being there. You will notice that. Then you will see how mind functions really also. So this whole thing understood well and practiced well will result in a more stable and central functioning of the mind, you can say. So the more clear and central functioning of the mind is what we can call a stable mind or central mind or clear mind, open mind. The more open mind, the more it is in your favor now. Because now it knows who gives it the salary, no? Now your mind will know who is giving the salary. So that's why it will serve the one who gives salary, no? Salary means the energy. The mind will know now that you are the one who is giving it salary, energy, no? It will serve you now. But when mind is cluttered, not clear, then it keeps serving everybody else except the master, no? That you are. When your mind will be like this, then it will guard you from involvement or like being lost. When you have decided, you have chosen to just sit in your samadhi, in your sacredness of your being, without doing anything, because this is your time to meet your beloved inside your being. Like a meeting of the lover and the beloved is happening, no? So on the gate is the guard of mind. Will not let anybody go out. Let anybody go in. No? This is just an analogy, like a picturization of what is possible. So there is no guard actually in the mind, but a guardedness in a way, like a vigilance will function here by itself. By itself, that same power which is flowing as thoughts and feelings and thinker and logic and you know observation of thoughts and everything, that whole crystallizes into a vigilance more and more. No? And as soon as you plug into mind, it divides itself into many things of the mind, no? Like thoughts, feeling, thinker, subjects, memory, logic, intelligence, intellect, and everything. And as soon as you slip out of it, it reduces itself into a vigilance, alertness. Maybe it is not practically 100% possible to attain like this, but even if it is attained up to some degree, it is very valuable. In this model, you the self can go in the mind and do whatever you want to do. But you cannot be distracted by the mind functioning now anymore. Mind functioning includes events of life happening, being perceived by the senses and the mind, and it is creating a sense that it is important to be attended right now. All those things will not be created so much in you now. Like a reasonable, actual, practical scenario where if some real emergency happens, then your mind will call you really, knock on the door. Sorry, really sorry that you are meeting your beloved, I know, but it's kind of important. Like this, no? It will say, so I'm really sorry, my master, but it's kind of important because like your physical house is on fire, let's say, or something, or somebody has taken, stolen your phone or something. You know what I mean? So our mind will function very well as a practical guard also, but not more than that. Like mind will know clearly what is my role in a way. Not mind will know, but a refinement in the functioning of the mind will take place in this way. Is this understood or no? Because sometimes I feel that as if I'm sharing some poetry or something, and whether it will make any sense to you or not, very much dependent on you also. So please say that. Otherwise, I will try again.
Ji, it is very clear, Ji. And I'm understanding it, Ji.
So very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji.
Thank you.
And Ji, I'm not sure, but I wanted to bring it myself to you, that I couldn't feel the full this guiding Ji, because I could feel that there is a something I'm attached with this mind, like not fully could see it, and I can feel this stickiness, and I still feeling it that there is something is going on in joy, and same time I'm still holding this mind. So this I wanted to bring.
First of all, it is very good to notice like this, no? Yeah, I feel it's very good to notice, no? Because we don't have to let go. Like this let go is something to be understood during the meditation. We have to let go of what we are holding on to. If we are not holding on to anything, we cannot let go of anything also. So sometimes trying to let go may become another doing. No? So don't try to let go like an effort, like a doing, but try to sense only, am I holding on to something? Because whatever we are holding on to is actually, that is what is called the doing of the being, fundamentally. Because after holding on to something, the being will now further increase its doing, like, involvement by doing more. Let's say, holding on to the body is like a essential thing, no? Holding on to the breath and the body is an essential thing for the being. Otherwise, being cannot live in the body, or body cannot survive, no? But when the being is not aware of itself and the nature of the body and the difference of the being and the body, then what it does, that it holds on to the body without knowing anything separately, that I am separate from the body. Then as the body, it will further do things now. Now it will not do things as the being. That's how its doing will enhance now, will expand now, outwardly more. Then when it will not feel happy and it want to be free, that time it will not listen so easily as the being. It will listen as the body. Tell me what to do. Because I know only one thing, doing. No? That's why it is given techniques and also. Do something to see that you are not the body. Even if little bit. Like little bit awareness, even if little bit awareness. And that little bit awareness is a lot for you to remember that I am kind of one with the body right now. And there is something from inside I am doing, like I am holding on to my body. And if I am holding on to my body during the meditation, I can let go of it. So these are very fundamental discoveries which are very useful here. These are small, this is a small thing, but very powerful. The impact or the result of it is a lot. Know this clearly. Right now also. It is always a good idea to check right now also. Like even for a moment, we can live the full truth, no? When we are talking, me and you. No? I always feel that you should take the maximum from me in such a way that even if you don't have any need to talk to me or anyone actually for that matter, in the direction of truth, that will be best. No? We can still meet, have a cup of tea maybe. So that's why I'm saying that if you feel, check right now.
Ji, when you said this, the check right now, before that moment, I could feel that there is a space, and I could feel that I'm here, like can feel, sense myself, like being watching this body and mind like this way. Not exactly, but like.
So right now, do that practice of not doing anything, okay? do that practice, like just be here and don't do anything. What will happen is that you will start with the intention that I don't want to do anything, and you will feel, yes, I am not doing anything, and then slowly you will feel also that I am doing something. No? And this is how you will become free from that doing. By being conscious of what we are doing unconsciously, we kind of stop doing those things. And if we do not stop doing that during the meditation, either our intention or desire to meditate is not good enough, big enough, like strong enough, or the awareness of what we are doing is not complete enough yet, one of the two, or both maybe together. No? Maybe they are just one thing. No? Because if that desire to meditate, to not do anything is very strong, that will reflect as the awareness of towards what we are doing also, and a let go from that also. No? So increase the intention, increase the desire right now, that I choose not to do anything really. Like a very sharp cut, not like a continuity, sweet continuity, not like a sweet continuity, very sharp cut, like this. Choose right now and see what happens.
Ji, thank you so much, Ji. The moment you said that, do it now, and I could sense, I could feel that moment, that I can not do, even being open eyes and being sitting here, and then even body is still moving, and I could sense that there is something can stop inside, for me stop, rest is opening, like moving. But it's again started. So this, I wanted to bring it to you.
It started in the default state. The being is continuously involved and moving is a default state. Let us allow this to be acknowledged very consciously inside us. Let us allow it to be registered very clearly inside us. Because we are finding ourselves in many times in the true state, actually when we are not in the true state. Meaning we are in a hurry to declare that I am in the not moving state right now. Whereas actually we are continuously in this state of movement. Let us allow ourselves to more consciously and more normally, in a way, soberly let it be registered inside us. That all the time I am doing something. Only when we will become aware that all the time I am doing something, then we stand a chance to reach where we, because this what you're saying, it started again. It never stopped. It just stopped when I said, because I said something with a certain power, and you felt that power, or you felt the importance of that moment, and you responded. And then you came back to your normal state. That normal state is not necessarily natural state. Normal state and natural state, default state and natural state is not the same. No? That's why not doing anything truly will bring us to our natural state. But just misunderstanding that I don't do any effort will keep us in the normal state, default state of ego only. Where we will keep doing, where we will just keep doing. And we will feel that I'm supposed to not do anything. For how long I'm supposed to not do anything? Because nothing is changing. And you are the being. You know really nothing is changing. And you are right actually this time. That nothing really is changing. That's like a wastage of sometimes many years. We just keep meditating. I'm not doing anything. No, this not doing is not the right not doing. Right understanding is very important in the being. The meditation is a way to correct our understanding, not really to do things so much. It is to enable us to become aware of who we are and what we are doing and what we can do or we cannot. Our choices, real choices in the being. Yeah. So please understand, this is normal. Oh, it started again. But it never stopped, by the way. So we should not be so surprised, oh, it started again. When did it stop? When it stops, this is called enlightenment. When it stops, this is called enlightenment. What is enlightenment? When it stops and realizes who I am. Not by thinking about it or anything. Like no knowledge happens in the mind ever in this moment. And still everything worth knowing has been known to make this being free now, forever. No, slowly it will become free from everything. It will start losing interest from all those unconscious movement. What is ego? Unconscious movement of the being. No? Conscious movement is not ego. You, the being, consciously have a cup of tea. No? That's what I mean, have a cup of tea. No? You know I am having a cup of tea. You know that I am in the body. You know I am the body also. You know this cup also. Like this, have a cup of tea. And it is not being ego. You are the being having a cup of tea right now. No? And you are moving and not moving at the same time. This is the beauty of the being. You are moving and not moving. You are still forever in a way. And such a beauty when the stillness moves. No? You are that stillness which will move now. This is such a beautiful thing to see. So don't be confused. That is not attained yet. No? Being aware that I am on a roller coaster of mind is a very good thing. Believing that I am out of it already. I don't know why sometimes I feel like this and like that. It's just living in an illusion, a spiritual fantasy. No? Is that not a reality? It's much better to be realistic about it that no, I'm still on the roller coaster of mind only. And slowly you will start becoming free from it. This is one of the most fundamental technique that stop. No? But this is also the greatest paradox of life, of spiritual life also. That which is suggested to stop is already never moving. It is only identified with that which is moving. But to break the hypnosis, it is asked to not move. Not move means not move in the identification, not move in the identified state. If we stop moving in the state of identification, we realize who we are beyond it. Strange thing to say, but it is actually true. If we stop moving as the doer, we will discover that there is no doer. I am the being and there is a doing. You know. So this don't do anything is actual thing to be done. It's not like what will happen with this really? Am I really moving? I think I am not moving at all anyway. No, it has to be actual thing. Am I really moving? You know, like this. I hope that it will help you in some way. Very good, thank you.
Ji, I could feel that thing what you said just a moment before. The mind should be on the guard, not to be involved. And then I could feel this moment when you were talking that there is some like guardness is also there, which is saying not to go in again.
Yeah. I remember myself also and some other people also saying that whenever something kind of in our spiritual life, no, in the effort when we used to do sadhana, yet whenever something happens like we miss some technique or timing for attending doing some technique, our mind reminds us what it means. It means that mind has started supporting. Right now our mind reminds where is party going on, or you know, where is the better cookie, or you know, those kind of things. So right now our mind is serving our egoic tendencies. When our mind starts serving our desire to wake up, it will start supporting also. When the mind is completely serving the being in desire to wake up, then the mind becomes like an alert guard, like a vigilance. Then there is no mind fighting with us. There is a mind fighting with everything else which comes in the way, in a way. Because there is nothing coming in the way except the dividedness of the mind. When the mind is united, this guard does not need to guard anything because nothing comes to disturb you. Because this was the guard who was disturbing you. So you have put the thief to guard the thief now. No, like this. Now there will be no thief ever in your house. No? This is what it means to watch your mind. Who watches the mind? Mind watches the mind. No? The self does not need to watch the mind or doesn't need to be aware of it. The self being aware of itself, its own existence, its own not doing anything state is more than enough for complete freedom. No? But when that self is identified with the mind, then it has to do something. Do something means the closest to the self for doing is the watching, the awareness, being like seeing or awareness. A intentional awareness that let me watch what is going on in my mind, thoughts, feelings and everything. And in this watching, the mind is being converted into the watching more and more. Like there will be less and less things to be watched and there will be more and more awareness in the watching or in the watcher. Like this. Because of the same reason. Because the guard is the thief. No? The dividedness of the divided state of the mind is the thief state of the mind. Less divided or more stable state of the mind from the 2 to 2-1 or 2-1-1 also is the subtlemost state of the mind. Here the same thief becomes the guard. Or in another language, maybe not thief or guard, but the vessel of the mind is like full of holes, divided. Not divided means no holes now. Now when the word is filled in the mind, we will feel too much word, like too much word. Like, oh, I don't want that, We will wake up. Even if our mind has been filled by the word that we experience, it can cause us awakening. No? Like, oh, I don't want this, like this. What to say of when our mind or individual consciousness is filled by the presence of my Lord? I tell you really, my version, of course, give just one moment of such a taste. I always felt that I can die thousands of deaths for this one moment. And all the sadhana of thousands of years is useless for it, like nothing compared to this. Where there is no one here, there is just the truth of my Lord and the empty consciousness filled by that light and presence of my Lord. No past, present, future. No time basically in a way. This is a timeless meeting, timeless blessing in a way by the Lord. So that's why this mind has to come to a discipline in a way, to a centeredness in a way. By the way, it is a very useful mind also. The more centered it is, the more useful it is in the world also, in the activity also. Like why you should not succeed in doing things in practical life well. No, we should be able to do things very well in the practical life. Not those things which we do not want to do, but those things which we want to do. No? Or which life has brought to us also. No? Thank you. I feel there is one more pointing that can help in this direction, in this discussion that we are having. Either not having any holes, Another thing is what I call balance. Balance of in and out. Balance of in and out. Not having any non-essential at any point of time in the mind. Like whatever goes inside should go out also in a way, in some way. Or maybe not the same thing goes out, but something goes out always. So to keep the mind in a balanced, lightweight, healthy state, not that it becomes like a collection of garbage and things like this, but more like alive, more like healthy, healthy mind. And this is also something I feel can be very useful, because it is little bit similar to what happens to our stomach, to our physical stomach bowel. No? Remember when you are eating something like a cheese or something, especially in the night, how important it is. This rule, no? What goes in should go out also. No? Otherwise, even if you try to meditate, your stomach will say, no, there's something more important to do right now. No? You know what I mean? Like, and what to say of deeper stomach? There's a deeper stomach of deeper bodies or layers also. No? Mind is a deeper body in a way, deeper layer also. Let's keep it healthy. That's what I meant. Like, it remains in a healthy state, not indigestion or like acidity. Can it be that the anxiety in the mind is like acidity? Can it be like this? I'm not an expert of these things at all. Like, I totally have no idea about these things. But I'm just using it as an example for us in the direction of discovering who we are. Only. Please understand, all my examples, all my expressions are only for this purpose. Not that I'm saying that I know something about the mind or body or anything like this. No. There are experts of those fields, and we will consult them as and when necessary for body, for mind or anything. But basically, the more healthy our mind is in a way, the more we can be free from it in a way also. Healthy, I don't mean by the human personal standards, but healthy in the sense of what we were discussing so far today, in this meeting. Clarity, stable, clear, central and clear, in that way. Thank you. Thank you. It's good. I don't know if it is word by word, like literally these words are correct or not, but I happened to explore two words 1 or 2 days back with Madhvi. These two words were ekagrata and samagrata. Ekagrata literally can be translated as concentration, like focusing on something. Like students are suggested to concentrate, ekagra ho gaye, padhai karo, like concentrate on your studies, like this. So ekagra, like concentrating on the subject. Ekagrata. Ek means one. Probably this is what literally it means, that like paying attention to one, or giving attention to one. So ekagrata. Samagrata means like distributing our awareness or attention to everything equally. Some means equal, like to everything in the moment, like this. And I felt, hey, this is what is meditation. Meditation is not concentration on something. Meditation is also not paying any attention to anything, But meditation is also not doing anything. So when we are not doing anything, our attention is some means equally divided, like a floodlight. Like I remember I think Guruji said like this, like a panoramic view, like this. Like everything is in the view, but nothing in focus. This is samagra. So, and by the way, I used this word samagra for totality because it means totality also. Being total in what we are doing. No? Not focused on what we are doing, but total on what we are doing. No? So these are very magical words for me, samagra, or this particular word, samagra. Which is at the same time having a panoramic view also, like as if we are not doing anything. And on the other hand, whole of ourself is doing what we are doing, total. Which really is same thing. Because when you, the being, will not feel like responding to the call of life, you will just sit and do nothing. But you will be total in not doing anything. Samagra. And then you will feel from inside intuitively to respond the call. And then you will be total in doing that also. You know what I mean? Like this. So, thank you. Try to understand these things. Because not doing anything can be learned also when we are doing something. The exact opposite of it, which is corresponding and which will help there. Because that time also when we are doing something, we are not wholeheartedly doing that also. No, we are not samagra in that also. You see what I'm saying? If we can be wholehearted in doing what we are doing, we can succeed in not doing what we are not, when we choose not to do anything also. It is about making our being free from ego. Two ends of the same process. One is not doing anything, one is doing something with wholeheartedness, or like two ends of the same process. They are not two processes. It is the same being stuck also in the thoughts and feelings, different from the subject which it is trying to focus on. No? Except what we are trying to do, we are trying to do everything else. No? So the being is trying to make itself free from this habit here also. The same thing plays when we choose not to do anything also, or not. Now, everything that is happening inside us is going to become a obstacle or a disturbance now, because we are choosing not to do anything at all. Now everything will be against it, no? And this is where it is highlighted that how much unconsciously we are doing something continuously all the time. I'm just sharing all these things in case one or the other can click, like something can click in you. It is not so much of a teaching that, hey, do this or don't do this, or this is true like this or false like this. It is more like trying to inspire you in some way. You, the listener, no? who choose to listen this right now or later. So, thank you. Uma, you want to talk?
Pranam ji. Ji, I am at very beautiful place inside and in Satsang also. But I noticed something inside, like some choice, some favorite place, like not talking, like remaining in this silent place. So I decided to talk to you. Because whenever I feel this kind of favorite, I feel bound. And
It's nice actually in a way, no? Because some other people, it could be like, what are you doing? You should stay here now, no? Because you have come to the most beautiful state of being. So I feel it's very nice. Meaning there is a wisdom growing inside you clearly that no, this is a trap. Like slowly, I feel, Uma, we can explore right now a little bit further. That you, the being, has been living in the body state or identification with the body state for a long time, where it was felt like I am the body much more. No, I am the body means like the being cannot be body, whatever it does, even if it is supremely asleep in the identification with the body. Still, it will be able to feel the taste of being. No, but not clearly. So most of the taste is taste of the body and little taste of the being. Together, it is neither the taste of the being nor taste of the body. No? Like no pure taste here. That is what is false self. No? And then when we are coming out of it, we kind of tend to search for some subtler state, and we think that that state is my true state. No? And that wisdom has to grow slowly inside us, that what is the difference between myself and my state? My state is what is experienced by me when I associate myself with something, no? Where I choose not to live in my purity effortlessly. No? Like whenever momentum happens inside me, which is what is association with the body or anything, then this is what is a state. No? And most of the time we are in a state. No? Like most of the time, as far as waking state goes, we are in a certain state always. No? Feeling more physical, feeling less physical, but still feeling something. No? So that's why we never get a chance to live the truth of who we are. No? And even if we can, it is more like a distant something that is felt and gone, like, came and gone. Then we come back to sort of a circle, where different states are being exchanged with each other, one after another. That's why it is important to become aware of this truth, that aha, like I am always finding myself in a certain state. As you will choose to to live as the experiencer of your state, you are choosing to live as the being that you are or not. Because the experiencer of one state will be still the same experiencer of the next state or not. Yeah? Like this, you, the being, is coming to your stillness. Coming in the sense that the stillness was there, but was not given value. Now it is being given value. That I am the still experiencer of my changing states. No? It's a more internal revelation of truth of who we are. No? While the activity or movement or change in the state continues. And every state will cause a possible identification with it. No? You may get identified with it. No? And generally we are identifying ourselves with a more subtler state, which generally is not a bad thing. It is like growing in a way. No? At least we have known some outer state as not our true state. No? But for beings, like where you are also, now the desire is coming to not be identified with any state. No? I feel clearly that you are able to feel your being right now. No? And you are feeling your being, and you cannot really in any way tell that how exactly I am feeling my being. It is only in relation to the state that I'm knowing my state to be separate from myself or changeful. I'm knowing my state to be changeful. It is changing right now. Not visibly, but I know it is changing. No? And then you are becoming more established in the unchanging being that you are, Uma. No? Like the changing state is working like a mirror for you to appreciate that I am not changing. No? Use this well. I hope every one of you is using it in some way. You are very welcome. So now, Uma, you don't need to be afraid of changing states. You can more relax more in a allowing attitude towards your state, because state changes. The self, the truth that I am, does not change. It is a learning, internal learning happening now. What changes and what doesn't. And there is nothing you can find inside you which does not change. And have I not given you a clue already? That what is that which does not change? Have I not given you the clue? There is nothing inside you you can ever find which does not change. Ever, ever, ever. Not today, not tomorrow. Awakening is to the realization that I am that which is not changing, not what I am looking at. No? Realization, awakening is the realization that I am that which is not changing, not that which I am looking at. No, it is like a subtle hypnosis still plays inside us, and we keep looking at that which is changing and hoping that there will be something there in it which is not changing. There is a reflection of the changeless in the changeful. But that reflection is also changing. Even the reflection of the changeless is changing. Please be aware of it, Uma. And everyone, please. So even when the changeless has reflected in time, it has to change also. This reflection has to change. Because change is the law of time. Like no exception to this rule. And let's be happy. We are living the truth. No? It's a beautiful thing to know that everything is changing. No? However, in the beginning it may be too difficult also. Because we have been living in the assumption too much that some things inside me are not changing. Some things are like permanent and forever. Like this. Not everything is changing at the same speed, by the way. There are subtler layers inside us which are changing slowly. Outer layers which are changing faster. Like this. It's a beautiful moment for us together right now. A moment of realization of who we are, the changeless. So, shall I know? Like this I feel a question on behalf of the seeker, that shall I know all that which is changing inside me in order to know that I am not changing? Or I will know first that I am not changing, and then indirectly I will know everything that is changing also. Actually, there is no certain answer to this question. It is very subjective. In a very unique way, it happens to every one of us. Like some will go all the way first in being clear that, what is changing in me. And they will just not pay attention to who they are that time, which is changeless. And all of a sudden, only after recognizing everything as changeful, they will realize that I am that which is not changing. Some will realize in between also. And once they realize in between, then the remaining subtle layers which are also changing will be realized by them very soon now in relation to the changeless, much faster now. Like even without looking at anything. In the being, it is just noticed so simply, without looking anywhere. Just being the changeless enables us to notice or sense the changeful inside us clearly. No activity or, is also required here. So it's a very unique thing that happens to all of us. Different from each other also. So I hope Uma is beautiful now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Very, very nice. I think our states or energies, like the individual aspect, will also get some breathing space here as we will establish in the changeless. Because before that we are kind of, you know, not so open in a way, or how to say, you know. But there is a alertness required also here. Let us remain vigilant. Because this aspect of changeful has not been expressing itself fully or openly for a long time. So it's like kind of suppressed for a long time. Let us be alert about it also, that, you know, it remains within our wisdom of being. But more relaxed now, you know. Like this aspect also becomes more relaxed, more joyful, you know. Because the one who was creating struggle everywhere is gone. The self that you are is the you know, another name in a way for supreme bliss. Body, mind, energies are returning to their true natural state also. Because they have been accepted by you as they are, changeful, temporary. I know, it's not easy. These things are not easy really. But I'm just sharing that some are ready to listen, or some are ready to live the truth like this. So to support that, I'm just sharing like this. Yeah, in the end, I just want to share a little bit something which probably will be a little bit in continuation with this also. Uh, the being that we are is the ultimate truth. And it is the ultimate knower of everything that is happening or going to happen in this process of awakening. No. But it does not mean that this being is going to know everything in the end only. It is the same being knowing everything right now as individual self. But when the desire in this being, who is living as individual self, desire for true knowing will increase, it will choose to not live as individual in order to know the truth more deeply. You know, this is what is kind of a crossover. A crossover will take place here. Like a choice will be made internally that I want to know the truth more deeply, even if I cannot continue staying as individual self. And it happens so smoothly in a way, because the being is choosing a higher joy, higher beauty, not losing or leaving anything which it has right now. Whenever we choose something higher, we don't feel the pain of losing what we have, no? Isn't it? That's why awakening is a joyful thing in this way. It is many times painful also, disturbing also, because of our attachments, not being aware of many things, and the resistance that we have for our truth only. So from one hand we keep desiring to be free, from another hand we keep trying to stop it. That's what creates a lot of struggle inside us and disturbance. And the more the being that we are is going to know truly who we are, the more somehow the knowing will be different than what has been known so far. At some point it goes beyond the mind level. Mind level is where we are knowing things uh, in a very, very vast spectrum, like a personal life and individual life, and then subtler, many other knowledge and everything. All of that is contained within the mind, and beyond that, we reach to the being field of being, and we know truth here. Here we don't so much feel that I'm the being. We just remain as the being here. Because we don't have a notion, we don't have a concept of being here. You know. However, the subtle mind again will help us here. It will show us that where we are right now, and we will feel so happy. Like it will become more and more clear to us what is the difference between us, ourselves, and the life. What is life, what is myself, no? Like this. It all is going to become like a one thing, no? Very nicely it's separated, but without being separate from anything. No? Like everything is so individual, so beautifully flowing, separate from each other without collapsing or colliding, and yet there is nothing separate now. There is just one thing called the self or the life. It is that life that is catching a break here. It is that life which is feeling so relaxed now, so blissful now. And you are that life. I want to say like this, beloved. We are this life. We are this one thing, which is appearing as many things. This may not necessarily make your individual life better, but it is going to for sure make it blissful. Because the being who is constituting, this whole thing, everything, this being is waking up. This being is tasting its own bliss. No? In the middle of the struggle of life, life is full of struggle as it was, and it is blissful also now, at the same time. At the same time, not after the struggle, but in the middle of the struggle, it is blissful. But not like blissful like dismissing, but blissful like a sweetness continuously felt, which is just not going anywhere. Nothing is able to cover it. It can be felt like a silence maybe in the beginning, but it is so much more than silence really. It is not maybe a screaming silence out of joy, but it is definitely a dancing silence out of joy. I feel like this. It was very beautiful meeting with all of you once again. It is a miracle for me that again and again we come together and explore the truth in such a beautiful, unique ways. No? I thank my Guru and God, and thank you everyone for joining today.